leaving it one, obviously I began to realize, okay, there's something here that I can build on because this was very natural. And Deepak said to me when the cameras turned off, he said, you have a real gift for this. And I thought to myself, wow, like I'm going to hold on to that because it's very easy for me. And I think for a lot of us to doubt ourselves and to question and to just say, that was a fluke, or I can't recreate that, or who am I to do that, or any of the imposter syndrome things that we know so well. And as months went on, all of a sudden another opportunity popped up where Chase hired me and they said, you're going to interview Cam Newton and you're going to interview Deepak Chopra. And I thought, you've got to be kidding me. Now, 3 months later, I'm getting to see him again. And he was so delightful and so welcoming, as was Cam. And then 2 months after that, I did something that I am a huge believer in as well, which is one, it's just nurturing relationships. And two, it's when you get that spark in your head of thinking of someone, of simply reaching out and expressing whatever you were feeling, because I think we often let those moments pass when they can really be fruitful and just simply to nurture the relationship. And so it was the day after Christmas. This was about 3 or 4 years ago. And I sent an email to Deepak and I just said, I just want to thank you again for the times that we've intersected this year. And I want to let you know as we enter the new year that if there's anything I can do to support your efforts, let me know. And he wrote back in 20 minutes and he said, actually, yes, I think you can help make my work less esoteric and more easy and easier for people to understand. And I opened the email, my jaw is on the floor and I'm thinking, what? Me? There's 7 billion people on this planet. Like, why is he asking me that? And what does this mean? Like, what does he want me to do? And so I wrote back and I said, absolutely. What do you have in mind? He said, well, I don't know. What do you have in mind? And so we're literally ping ponging in real time. There's no time to stop and think. And the first thing that comes to my mind, I put in the email and I say, okay, why don't we do a video series and we'll call it Diving Deep with Deepak. And we'll break down a topic per video and we'll do it in 5 minutes or less. And I'll help make it really palatable and digestible for people in a way that maybe it can take the esoteric nature and make it something people can really grapple with. And he goes, great, except we're going to call it Diving Deep with Deepak and Darrah, and we're going to start in 2 weeks.
Oh my gosh.
And in that moment, I just had this realization of, okay, me, I don't believe that I am the person that should be doing this. I don't see in me what he sees in me. But in that moment, I made the decision to borrow the confidence that he saw in me and say, and it wasn't fake it till you make it. It was just let that be the bridge till you can really own and understand what it is that he sees in you and that you can wear and own that for yourself. And it was one of the biggest gifts that he could ever give me, just to help me see myself the way that he saw me and to go and then produce 33 episodes together.
33 episodes. Oh my goodness. I love, and I just want to kind of, interject for a moment here and really highlight what you just said, because I think that so many times when we're, launching something completely brand, like you said, Deepak was your very first interview, right? In this capacity. And then it led into something where the universe was like, all right, you guys are just going to keep intersecting. So then 2 months later, you're having a touch point again. And obviously probably, building those interview skills. And then to, kind of say the whole borrowing the confidence that he saw in you, I think that's so valuable and important, because there's so many nuggets here, because even in the idea of connecting your dots with him and knowing your superpower, which is connection as well. And I see that in you. And, of course, like I see that in myself as well. And not only that, but just to reach out so the idea that you were honing in on that superpower of reaching out, connecting, having gratitude, that led you to create this 33 video series. So what is actually going through your mind at this point, now that, you just kind of borrowed that confidence and you're literally entering this next chapter, which is completely different than you had thought before?
It was interesting timing. And it's an interesting question. No one's ever asked me this, because it was, like I said, the day after Christmas, and I was about to leave for Guatemala the next day for, I think, 10 days. And so I remember going and just feeling electric. And I'm a believer, and I have a hunch that you're a believer, that the energy you emit, you attract. And so suddenly I just felt this like real different vibration than I had really ever experienced for that long after that. And I think it was a combination of like being in such an incredible place as Guatemala, and also really just thinking about and beginning to visualize what was going to happen in this series with him, and beginning to realize like, this is your reality and things like this can happen to you and can happen to everyone else. And we don't need to think that we can plan everything, which was a big lesson for me. I'm a type A planner. I thought like I needed the grips of control on everything, which has been like a lifelong unlearning for me. And, there was just so much anticipation where I began to dig back into all of his work, which then sped up my own learning and helped me deepen my own learning, and then began to think, what are the questions I really want to ask this person? Because there was no guarantee of how long we'd be doing this. It was just this on the fly thing. Right. So I began to prioritize what that was, and we'd text and we'd talk about what it was, and he'd be asking me what books I was reading. I mean, it just became this beautiful thing where it was mentor from afar turned peer. Wow. And it's interesting because even now I don't think of him as like a true peer. Like I still hold him in such high regard and see him differently. But the way he treated me also was such a great lesson in and of itself, of no matter how much you've done, no matter how far you've gone, everyone is the same and is equal. And the fact that he embodied that and treated me that way, it was just such a great reminder that no one is greater than, no one is lesser than.
I mean, you bring such a really powerful point here, and I want to kind of connect the dots to what you mentioned before, is you believe in like the 5 types of mentors. So can you take us through that? Because it seems like for somebody like Deepak to just be so, open and willing to in many ways kind of challenge you, but really see the talent that you were bringing to the table just from that, first interview that led to the second interview that led to this whole, kind of experience with him.
See you next time at the Brave Table.